It's Monique, creator of Grayscale Magazine. No, not in print and not digital. We are a global talk show. Topics on our magazine cover come to life with real talk from gray-headed beauties from all over the world who live unapologetically, love unequivocally, and mature ever so gracefully, sharing tips on style, aging, and living your best life. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Grayscale Magazine. Life is just beginning.
Is love gonna sound your song? And I think I wanna sing it forever.
Oh, love this lady.
Yeah,
Yeah, their first album. Yeah, this was their wrong time.
And then it's like, so I tell you now, I'm giving you the best that I got.
Well. Welcome to Grayscale Magazine. I'm Monique Stubbs Hall, the founder of Grayscale, and just absolutely excited today because this marks the very first edition of our magazine concept. Now, we say magazine concept because Grayscale Magazine is not your typical magazine. It is not in print, it is not digital, but it is actually a talk show. So although we use a magazine cover, all of the topics that are going to be laid out are what we're going to discuss with our guests each month. So welcome to our new platform, and we know that you will enjoy the information you're going to get to hear about. You're going to get some good laughs, and we're going to talk about what maturity really is all about and how we can embrace that maturity. See, at Grayscale Magazine, we live unapologetically, we love unequivocally, and we mature ever so gracefully.
We can talk about anything. He's got nothing to hide.
Welcome back to Grayscale Magazine. Today, June 1st, 2020, we are so excited to launch our very first edition. And we have an amazing guest that we will be speaking with over the next 30 to 45 minutes. And we are going to meet Ms. Lashawnda Becoats. She is nothing but fabulous. She is here with me in the Queen City of Charlotte, North Carolina. And we are going to talk to her about some wonderful points that are going to help you as you are working through your maturity. The reason I chose Lashawnda Becoats as our first guest for our first episode is because she is so much fun, you all. She is so much fun. And I couldn't think of another person that I would like to kick off the first edition of our magazine with. So without further ado, let me introduce you to the fabulous Lashawnda Becoats. And of course, you all, she's a gray-haired beauty.
Well, thank you for such a wonderful introduction. I really appreciate it.
We're so happy to have you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, you know, our first theme for our first episode is not being afraid to move against the grain.
Yes.
And so I know you're a gal who, that is not a fear of yours.
No, it's not. And that actually is what running toward your life is all about. And so, I think the older we get, the bolder that we should get. And so it's important as women, especially, to live in your truth and really be in a space of celebrating who you are.
Yes. We have to live our lives unapologetically.
Unapologetically,
right?
Absolutely. And so a lot of times that means going against the grain. I get questions a lot about my hair. Why did I let my hair grow long and why did I let it go gray? And really it was about knowing what my own beauty looked like and not looking at society to decide for me that gray hair wasn't beautiful. I feel more beautiful with my natural gray hair than I ever did with hair from a color bottle.
Listen, I'm with you on that. I recently posted a couple of photos of the changes that I've gone through over the years with my hair. And I think we will flip styles and do
Uh-huh.
all these things, but at some point we end up with what I call a signature look for ourselves.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So I decided I was chopping it all off. All the gray can come in. Actually, you all, I'm waiting for it to go completely white because
Yes.
I cannot wait for that.
Yes.
But I decided that the short hair was my signature look.
Mhm.
I remember when the first time I met you,
Mhm.
and I don't even know if you remember, it was actually at an event,
Okay.
a nonprofit gala
Uh-huh.
event, and at that time you had just, I believe, locked your hair because it was very short
And sticking
and
up.
I'm telling you, I'm telling you.
I loved it like
And
that.
so, tell me, how many years of growth is this?
This is 7 years of growth, and I started with just a little bit more hair than you have on your head.
I
So
remember.
in 7 years, a lot of my hair has just sprouted.
Yes, yes. Well, it's absolutely gorgeous. We
Thank
love
you.
your locks.
Thank you. Thank you
And,
so much.
and it is definitely a part of your signature look
Yes.
as a woman that is embracing your
Yes.
maturity and your
Absolutely.
gray hair crown.
Yes, absolutely.
So very exciting. So I wanted to talk a little bit about, women making every moment count because we only live once, right?
Yes.
We only live once.
Mhm.
So I know that you have a platform that you're getting ready to kind of bring to life,
Yes.
and I know that it will benefit a lot of our maturing women. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, well, my platform is actually called 40 Plus Courting, and it's a sub-brand to my lifestyle brand, which is Run Toward Your Life. And 40 Plus and Courting has really taken off, and it started off as just fun for me to share my dating experiences. I'm twice divorced. I've been through a lot of different types of relationships, and friends said to me, you know what, you should share that with other women. Other women are going through this transition piece when it comes to dating over 40 and getting out there. And so it's morphed into a support system for both men and women. You know, a lot of women and men over 40 have lived a whole entire life. They've been divorced, widowed, they've been off the scene, and so this support system looks like being able to really discuss with people who want to know, how do I get back on the dating scene? What is it like now, especially if you've been away for a while?
Right, because really, it can be a very scary thought.
Yes.
I think about myself, like yourself, being divorced twice, but you're talking about two long-term, 15 years and 12-year
Yeah.
marriages. And really, I mean, that's most of my adult life. That's what I know.
Right.
So the thought of
Getting back out
getting
there.
back, woo!
It's
That's a
scary,
lot.
and the game has changed.
It has.
That's the information that 40 Plus and Courting brings to the population, is this idea that it's okay, again, back to embracing who you are. It's okay to want companionship. It's okay to want to be in connection with another person. But how do you go about doing that if you don't know all the tricks and games and different ways to actually connect? We're not meeting the way we used to, one-on-one. A lot of people are meeting via social media spaces. How do you navigate that? So that's what 40 Plus and Courting is. It is a support system for people over 40 getting back out there on the scene.
Wow. Well, that's an amazing platform, so I know we'll be hearing more about that.
Yes.
Yes, and then we'll also be supporting you in posting and making sure that
Thank you.
people know when that platform officially comes
Yes,
out
thank
and
you
is
so
available.
much. Thank you.
Okay. Now, of course, we cannot have a fashionable magazine cover feel and not talk about style.
Yeah.
We know that your locks and our gray-headedness is a part of our style, but I think every woman has signature things that it's just like her fashion thing.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about your fashion thing, okay?
Yeah, so I have two fashion things. I don't have on my eyewear, but I'm a big fan of eyewear.
Yes.
I have all different types of eyewear, designer eyewear that I love to, wear because I can't see. I am 4 eyes for real. And so I think that if you're going to wear glasses, make them statement pieces. And so I've been collecting glasses for about 10 years. And I have a wonderful optometrist that hooks me up with styles that fit my face. And so that's a part of my signature look. When it's about making a statement, walking into a room and not looking like anyone else or feeling like anyone else, eye jewelry. That's what I love.
Yes.
And also my kicks.
Yes.
I
How about your kicks?
40 plus, but I love sneakers. I mean, sneakers are my thing. And when I started traveling to Europe and really taking in this global style, I noticed that a lot of women abroad were on bicycles, because that's a huge part of transportation systems in Europe. But women were on bicycles wearing dresses with tennis shoes.
Absolutely.
And so I started thinking, yes, very practical. I
Uh-huh.
love high heels, but I started thinking about, hey, is it cool? Is it okay to wear sneakers with your dresses? I love a great dress. And so I started implementing that into my personal style, and I will rock a pair of sneakers under a gown
Girl.
with a suit. It just is. There are so many great options out there for tennis sneakers with heels on them, so you can play it up and have fun. And I'm all about comfort, style, and definitely being fun.
I love it. And as she was talking, I'm sure that you saw examples, because we took some of your photos and we had them rolling while you were talking.
Yes.
But definitely you all can see that she is straight up stylish, but definitely unique in what you do. And we were talking previously about this whole idea of being unique and not feeling as though we have to conform to what everyone else or what people consider the norm.
Absolutely.
Let's talk
not.
about that.
Absolutely not. I think, I love to use this term in coaching a lot, which is know thyself. And when you're on a journey to knowing thyself, you know what makes you feel good. And a lot of women get in spaces where when they're starting to become older, they think that they have to be in the societal space of what that looks like. And I say no. I say you have to embrace who you are, know thyself, be really secure in your body shape, accepting your body shape, accepting your hair, accepting how you feel, embrace it, and be unique in that.
Yes.
No one can do it better than you, but you have to feel good about yourself.
Absolutely. And when you were talking about embracing changes,
Yes.
there are so many changes that we go through, right?
Yes.
And you start seeing the little. I know for myself, I started noticing everything. The new wrinkles under my eyes,
Moles.
exactly.
Body hair.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
But the one that no women like to talk about, but we're going to talk about it because of the fact that. Which I did mention that you are also a model for gray-haired women, and a part of maturing is this thing about our bladder issue, right?
Uh-huh.
And at one point you were modeling for a company, right? So
Yes.
tell them about that, and let's talk about that issue.
Yeah, so let's keep it real. Incontinence is a part of growing older. And I don't know if this has happened to you. It probably has, but you giggle and then you just have a little accident.
Right.
And so it's important to embrace that and not be ashamed of the things that happen as you mature.
Right.
Incontinence is a real thing for women, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. There are beautiful options out there when it comes to undergarments, and we still have to laugh, right? We still have to have fun. We still have to enjoy ourselves. Don't be ashamed of the changes that are happening with your body. Again, accepting who you are and where you are in your journey to going gray and growing older gracefully.
Absolutely. Because as far as we're concerned, that's the only way, right?
That's the only
You
way.
must do it with grace.
You have to do it with grace. Absolutely.
I love it.
It's Monique with Grayscale Magazine, featuring our hair care product for the month of June, which is Maison 276, the 3-step system designed to clarify, hydrate, and restore the natural brilliance of silver gray or blonde hair. All products are created with nutrient-rich botanicals to moisturize and condition with no drying phosphates, no sulfates, and no purple dyes. You will love their customer service and their packaging. And to reach them, please go to Maison276.com. They will be happy to take your orders. And back to our program.
So let's talk about your next adventure, because we were talking about Run Towards Your Life, which is actually your platform.
Yes, it
Run
is.
Towards Your Life. And let's talk about how that started, and then where your next adventure is going to be. Tell us about some of the places you've traveled to, and then where your next adventure is going to be.
Okay, so Run Toward Your Life happened to me on an airplane. I'm fortunate to be a journalist and get to cover stories in different countries and write about them for the magazine. And so I was on an airplane, and I was in a space of realizing that I was living this life that I had dreamed of, and I was not living my life in fear. And I said to myself, Lashawnda, you are running toward your life. You're living this great experience. And so that's where the brand name Run Toward Your Life came from. And so avid traveler, traveled all around the world. I have a ton of places that I want to get to.
Yes.
But some of my favorite cities are Amsterdam. Love Amsterdam. I've been there 3 times.
Yes.
I enjoyed Belgium. I was in Tokyo recently with my family. Love Italy. Love Hong Kong. So there isn't a place that I've traveled to that I haven't really fallen in love with to some degree. Love Barcelona. Love Portugal. So there's so many beautiful cities out there, and I'm a big proponent of people of all different races, nationalities getting out there and exploring the world. I think for me that's been the biggest education and the best education that I've had is exploring the world.
Yes, and exposure is everything.
It is,
isn't it?
It is.
You know, so when we want to talk about that from a standpoint of maturing, because sometimes we can lock ourselves in and decide I'm not going anywhere, right? But exposure is so important. So traveling and meeting new people, going to different places, and even if you're not going to jump on a plane and go international, right? It's still okay. Go somewhere outside your city.
Yes, just have an adventure.
And have an adventure. Create something,
yes.
right?
People
And-
get stuck.
Yes, absolutely. So not having that fear to keep moving.
To keep moving,
right?
Get out, you know, and just be in a space of always being a student. I think that's been a great part of this journey as well, is that you're never too old to learn. You can always learn something from someone, but you can also always learn something from being open to having great experiences and being around, you know, good people and good spaces. And so, you know, my last big trip was to Grenada and had a wonderful time there. I solo traveled, so I do a lot of solo traveling, and I really explored the island, and that trip has changed my life.
Yes, it has, because what did we find in Grenada?
Well, Grenada is the Spice Island, and I found I've attracted, actually, not found, but I attracted my significant other. It was just one of those things that was like preordained, and we happened to meet and come together, and it's just been a wonderful experience.
Absolutely. So, you know, there are little tips for traveling, because you never know.
You never know.
Who you may meet.
Absolutely.
Right?
You
It
have
could
to
be
be
your
open.
soulmate, right?
It could be your soulmate, and that's what
Absolutely.
happened to me. You have to be open when you're experiencing life.
Yes.
And that's really what it's all about. And when we can be open to things, when we're open to the possibilities, that allows our life to be so much greater and so much richer than we could ever imagine. Don't close yourself off to, you know, abundance. I'm a big believer that life is full of abundance, even when we're going through things that we don't necessarily understand, things that bring us down. It's the gratefulness, the gratitude that leads us into this abundant space of receiving.
Absolutely. And, you know, that was really a good point that you made with regards to abundance, because we are having this discussion in a time of the COVID-19 experience, really,
Yes.
is what's happening in this pandemic. And so, again, this is another thing that can cause mature individuals to really shut themselves in, like, permanently.
Oh, yeah.
And just out of sheer fear.
Yes.
And so, so again, this discussion of, you know, finding creative ways to just explore. You know, right now we may not be able to explore by jumping on an airplane or going, but, you know, it may be taking a walk in a park, or just doing something different and out of the norm to keep things fresh and exciting, right?
Yes.
So that we truly can live unapologetically. Right?
Yes, and you create your own life. You create your own
Absolutely.
life. You create your own experiences. And again, I really think it's important to be in a space of surrounding yourself with people who are like-minded.
Yes.
People who encourage you to try something different. And like you said, in this pandemic, a lot of over 40 plus people are afraid, and they're shutting down. They're experiencing, depression to some degree because they're uncertain about what life looks like when things start to open up and shift again. But let's get in a space of anticipating that things are going to be good and that they'll be the way that we need them to be in this global community that isn't just about us, but it's also about helping other people, because that's one of the big lessons that I learned. It's not just about you as an individual, but how can you be better for other people? How can you help others? Because we're seeing that in these times, we're out of control. It's this whole thing has shown us that we are not in control.
Absolutely. And so I say that right now we are blessed
Yes.
to live a rich life. And my personal quote is, living a rich life has nothing to do with money, but it has everything to do with mindset.
Absolutely.
And so that's what we're talking about, is how do we adjust our mindsets and continue to live a rich life, right? Because there's just so much beauty in the world. Lashawnda, thank you so much for joining us today, and we are looking forward to getting this first episode kicked off globally, right?
Yes,
Because
yes.
we're thinking global, and then we're going to encourage our listeners to join us on July 1st for our second episode of the Grayscale Magazine. So again, we want to say thank you to you for joining us on our first episode. You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Grayscale Magazine. And remember that you must live unapologetically, love unequivocally, and mature ever so gracefully. We'll be Stuff Home with Grayscale Magazine. We'll see you next month. We did it. Yes.
With a woman like you, I don't need to play around. You're more than just one woman. You're blowing my mind with the love that you're giving. That's what you hear me say. 'Cause every day it's more forever in you, baby. With this ring, I'll show you that.
Thank you for joining us for this month's episode of Grayscale Magazine, the forum for maturing and gray-headed beauties. May you live unapologetically, love unequivocally, and mature ever so gracefully. Grayscale Magazine, where life is just beginning.